Welcome to the Wayward Skein podcast. I am Lynn, also known as Toll Baby on Ravelry and pretty much everywhere else in the universe. Today is Sunday, August 19th. I'm recording a day late because we had a big family barbecue yesterday and I didn't end up getting home until about 11 o'clock. So I had intended to record last night. It didn't happen. I had intended to go to Twist this weekend. That didn't happen. So everything's just a little all over the place today. I do have some exciting news though. This week we have surpassed 275 members in the Ravelry group and over 245 subscribers in the YouTube channel. So, wow! I don't know where you all came from, but welcome! I'm so happy you're here. So, I think that's worthy of a little celebration, and a friend of mine agreed. So I'm going to host a two-pronged giveaway. One on each platform. My lovely friend Brandy, who is Brandy Miller Designs, she is Eat My Yarns on Ravelry, and I think, no, she's something different on Instagram, but anyway, she is a designer. She has a number of lovely patterns. She does socks, hats, other things. She's got all kinds of stuff. She has offered up your choice of one of her patterns. So I'm going to have her, well, she's going to give one away for the YouTube giveaway and one away for the Ravelry giveaway. You cannot win both. You can only win once, but you can enter both. Even you may just have to join Ravelry if you want 2 entries, but I did this on purpose so you could enter. So on Ravelry, there will be a giveaway thread. It should be right above or below this one. Please, no chatter in the thread, just the answer to the prompt. You must be a member of the group to enter. So the prompt, which Miss Brandy chose because she is the one who generously donated the prizes, is what is a pattern that you like to knit more than once, or what is a pattern you have knit more than once. If you need an example of this, I seem to have an addiction to the baby surprise jacket. I've knit about 8 of them, I think, at this point. So, something like that. What's your go-to for whatever? Hats, mitts, anything. If you've knit more than one of them, we'd like to know. Bonus, if you, not a bonus entry, but bonus for me, you get brownie points. If you link the pattern in the response, because my queue loves to be fed. So, that's the rules for the Ravelry. For the YouTube, you have to be a subscriber, so if you haven't hit the red button yet, you have time. Go ahead and do it. Comment under episode 10, which is this one. Hi! Telling us what pattern you've knit more than once. If you have never knit a pattern more than once, and this applies to the Ravelry one as well, tell us that. That's fine. That counts. Any comments that don't answer that question on YouTube, any like side comments are allowed, but any side comments will not be entered into the giveaway. So, yeah, I'm excited. It's my first giveaway. It's episode 10, so it's an anniversary, and we'll call that an anniversary. It's been, what, 2.5 months I've been podcasting? So, that's about it for the giveaway, and so I really hope that a lot of you enter, because Brandy's got some fabulous patterns, and I will be choosing a winner the weekend of September 1st when I'm recording from Chicago, because I'm going down for Labor Day weekend, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So, I'm going to have a sip of tea, because bleh. Disclaimer, it's cold. Like, cold. I was all excited. I was going to make myself a cup of a new tea I bought a couple of weeks ago when they were having the sale. I was like, yeah, this is going to be so good. I've been wanting to try this forever. I bought a crap ton of it. I fill the tea bag. I'm reading the package. It has mango in it. How did I not know this? So I was originally supposed to be drinking rhubarb cream soda, which I was so excited about. It sounded so good. Worst part is, I have a sample pack of this and another 100 grams. I have 3 packages of this tea. So I feel really stupid because I almost always, clearly almost always, check the ingredients on David's Tea, because a lot of their stuff has mango in it, or kiwi. Rarer on the kiwi. But like so much stuff that you wouldn't expect to have mango has mango in it, and I'm allergic to mango. So I had already filled the tea bag and everything, so it's sitting on the counter. My daughter can have it. So my actual tea today is also from David's Tea. It's also one I had not tried before. It's also from the same sale. This is Rainbow Sherbet, and it is amazing. It's so tasty. You could make juice that, like, this is like juice. It's like drinking juice. It's a little sweet. It's very fruity. It's a very robust flavor. Like, it's not sort of like a watered down sort of fruity taste. It's a very, very vivid fruity taste. I would absolutely love to make a pitcher of this iced. As it is, this cup is cold, so I can tell you it's fabulous cold. I made it a little while ago because I wanted to see how it was, like, just from the smell. I was like, oh, that'd be good cold, because I'm a sucker for cold tea. So that's what I did. And so if I don't have the package here, of course, because I left it in my bedroom, but it's okay. So one thing I wanted to show you guys 2 weeks ago, and I totally forgot, even though it was sitting right here on the desk next to me. My mommy bought me this a couple of weeks ago, and I adore him. Yuck! It's Elton John. He's sorry, I'm going to try again so you don't get too much glare. It's Elton John. It's a Funko Pop. Apparently there are 2 of them. So I don't have this guy yet, but that's the one I got. I love him so much. Elton John is my absolute favorite. I'm more than a little gutted that I'm not going to get to see his retirement tour, because tickets sold out about 10 minutes after they went on sale. There are resale tickets available all over the damn place, but I don't believe in scalping, and I'm not going to encourage it. And even though it devastates me that I'm not going to see this concert, I have seen him in the past. He and Billy Joel came to town a number of years ago. My aunt got us tickets. We went to see him. It was fantastic. But I'm not going to get to go this time. So I'll survive. I'm not a big concert goer. I'd much rather just buy the albums and enjoy that way. Because I find that the other people sort of detract from my enjoyment of the concert. The last time we had floor seats, so we were like 20 rows back from the stage. And about 20 minutes into the show, there were 4 seats in front of us that were empty. So about 20 minutes into the show, these 4 youngish people, couldn't have been more than 25, come in, sit down, start acting like they were clearly inebriated. Started acting both bored and crazy at the same time, like dancing on their chairs and like woo all over the place, and nobody else in the whole area was acting like that. And they stayed for about 20 minutes, and then they left. Clearly they had won the tickets, or somebody had given them the tickets. They didn't want to be there. They didn't even like Elton John or Billy Joel. And there's a funny story that goes along with this that anybody who watched Two Tangled Skeins for a long time knows about. And anybody who knows me has heard this story and are probably rolling their eyes at this point because they know what's coming. Rob included. Hi, Rob. I found out that Rob subscribed to the podcast, so. We went to this concert because my aunt, like me, absolutely loves Elton John. What she didn't know was that Billy Joel is also one of my favorites. We walk into this concert and she goes, I don't even know who this Billy Joel guy is. I'm just here for Elton John. I'm like, okay. Every single song that Billy Joel played, she's like, Billy Joel does this? My aunt is really good at recognizing what she likes. She's not so good at matching names and songs. So it was just hilarious that through this entire concert, she was going, I didn't know Billy Joel did this. So it's become a running gag in my family, and it makes my kids roll their eyes, it makes Rob roll his eyes. Every time a Billy Joel song comes on the radio, I'm like, oh, did you know Billy Joel does this? So it's my little annoying quirk that I like to do to people. And everybody has heard this story at this point. So I'm a little sad that I won't get to see the concert, but hey, I have him in plastic form. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to take them out of the box or not. I don't know. I kind of like them in the box. I don't know. We'll see. So on to actual knitting 10 minutes later, because you guys are here for the knitting, I know that. So I don't have anything finished this week, and I'm sorry to say that I don't have anything new to show you. I've only been working on the same 2 projects, but I made a little bit of progress. I finished Rob's first sock. Last week I was about here, because I was a little bit past the gusset decreases, so I think it was about there. So I finished the foot, did the toe, remembered how to Kitchener properly, apparently, because it doesn't look like a dog's breakfast like the last one did. This one looks like an actual Kitchener stitch. It's not super even, but it's pretty good. I like it. So this again is my basic sock, vanilla sock. Rob likes a 3x2 rib. He finds it hugs his leg perfectly and doesn't grip his leg, which is what he doesn't like. He doesn't like socks that are too tight on the legs. So he likes this, and it is based on Sock Recipe, A Good Plain Sock by Stephanie Pearl-mcphee, who is the Yarn Harlot. And yeah, for him I do the 3x2. I do 20 back and forth rows on the heel flap, and the rest just goes from there. I'm still undecided as to whether or not I'm going to be a nut bar and count the number of rows between the gusset decreases. Here, you can see them better on this side. The gusset decreases and the toe increases that start about here. I'm undecided. I do count the number of rows on the leg because I'm that anal. His leg is 75 rows. My legs on my socks are usually 20 rows of ribbing and 15 rows of leg, or 20 and 20, depending. So his are 75 for the leg, which drives me absolutely bonkers, because he's got big feet too. I mean, it looks huge here, but his feet are also about an inch longer than mine, so it's frustrating. It's a lot more sock, but I love him, so he gets socks. And before anybody is concerned that I will have second sock syndrome, I wound the yarn at work on Friday for the second sock. And I have the first 5 rows done. So I did start it yesterday. I meant to work on it at my mom's place during the picnic, but there was too much insanity going on. The kids arrived just as I pulled my knitting out, my brother's kids. So, you know, with a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old and an 8-month-old bouncing around, I didn't want to take a chance of having knitting needles sitting out. So I put my knitting away and I didn't start it until I got home. I do have a little mini left over from the first ball, so I was afraid I wouldn't, because his socks do use a lot more yarn than I'm accustomed to, so I was afraid I wasn't going to have any left, but I do have a little mini left, so I'm very happy about that. That's enough for me to do a square on my blanket and for me to give away a mini to somebody else. So I should get, which means that the second sock will leave enough for Jen to put a sock in her blanket, put a sock in it, to put a square in her blanket, and for me to have a second mini to give away. So that's fun, and I'm very happy about that. And I do my socks on a 2.5mm needle, which is a US 1.5. Most of my friends use a 2.25, which is US 1. I tried it once. I didn't like how it felt, but I may try it again because I'm finding that, like, for Rob's socks, it doesn't bother him. He likes it, and you can tell that I'm doing this on a smaller sock blocker because his socks stretch out a bit. He doesn't mind the fabric that he gets from a 2.5. I'm finding that it feels coarse to me, like the stitches are coarse, so I may try moving down to a 2.25 for my socks for the next pair. Sorry, my hair's a little bit all over the place. It was hot, so I put it up, and of course, because I got sweaty, it got curly, so yeah. So that's the first sock. The second sock has just started. I think you'll see where I spent most of my knitting time this week. I will admit I didn't get a lot of knitting done this week. It's been hot, and I kind of lost my mojo for knitting. But I got a bit of this done. I finished the first section, and I'm actually into the striping now. And I was afraid that the striping wasn't going to show up well because there's so much orange in the teal yarn. But look at that. You can totally see those stripes. I love it so much. So this is my Color Affection. It's by Vera Valimaki, and I am so in love with it. I chose a larger needle than the pattern calls for. It calls for a size 6, US 6, which is a 4mm needle. I'm using a 4.5mm, which is US 7. And I'm liking the airier, sort of drapier fabric that it's giving me. So I'm just going to put it here because there's no easy way to hold it up. I can't get it to sit quite right. So I'm on my fifth stripe of 12. Other than that, I'm not going to tell you. I shouldn't be giving away pattern details. This is a paid-for pattern. Anyway, I haven't told you how it's done, so I need 12 orange stripes in this section, and I'm on stripe 5. So it's a very, very intuitive, easy to remember pattern. Once you've got it down, you've got it, you're good. I'll need to look at the pattern again when I start section 3. I'm not there yet. So I'm getting some good mileage out of this yarn, though. I mean, this is the one that I did all of section 1 in, and I still have a good bit left. I should have checked to see how much I had left, but I'm not going to dig out the scale now. And this is the second yarn. So this one's only a little bit bigger. I'm getting some really decent yardage out of this. I'm pretty happy. So, and I realized after I recorded last week that I completely forgot to tell you guys what this yarn was. So I am making the Color Affection out of Night Owl Fibers Basic Sock. She usually does self-striping, but she has a number of tonal and variegated colorways now that are to die for. I'm just going to lean forward and grab the third ball, sorry. So this is the third ball. It's going to be introduced in section 3. So this is Night Owl Fibers Basic Sock, all 3 of them. This is Rusted Hook, Pumpkin Spice Latte, and Leather Boots. So I'm very much enjoying knitting with this. It is very much a labor of love. I'm loving the pattern. I'm loving the yarn. I think they go really well together. I'm just having fun with this knit, and I kind of don't want to work on anything else when I get home and I sit down and I start watching Sliders, because yes, I'm still on Sliders. This is the only thing I want to pick up, really, and it's fallen off my shoulder, so there we go. As to Sliders, since we're moving into post knitting, because this is all there was these 2 projects. Sorry, I'll take the sock out of the way and try not to knock over anything else. Yes, I forgot to mention the colorways last week. So yeah, since this was it for knitting, and I don't have project bags or anything for either of these, I do use one of my little needle keepers from let's try that again. Mandy Pinecone Crafts. Her podcast is on YouTube as well. She made me a number of these little needle minders, and I love them. And it was really funny because I actually took a class last Monday, and the instructor saw this because we were waiting around for the other people to show up, so I popped it open and started knitting. And she was like, "Where did you get that?" So I was like, "Well, they have patterns for them on Etsy, and you can probably buy them already made, and blah, blah, blah." So she was super impressed with this, Mandy. So since we're done with knitting, I am still watching Sliders. I am currently on season 4. I kind of feel like the series jumped the shark when Jerry O'Connell's brother joined the cast. Not that I'm not enjoying his brother. I think it's Charlie O'Connell. Very good looking boy. I say boy. He's older than me, but I'm watching him 25 years ago. So I'm very much enjoying watching it, but I kind of feel like the series went in a completely different direction in the middle of season 3. So while it got more of a long-term story arc, that's probably going to take it to the end of the show. And I'm not liking it as much as I was liking the standalone episodes. I think that's why I'm not watching as much of it. I'm also watching a lot more podcasts, which I'll talk about a little bit later. So there's those 2 things that are sort of warring right now. I'm not crazy about the overreaching story arc that's going on right now. And they took out 2 of my favorite characters, replaced them with a couple of characters I don't like so much. One of the characters was brought in near the end of season 3. And near the end of season 3, she was a badass. She was really cool. She wasn't taking anybody's nonsense and was really edgy and hard. And now she's like fluffy and pink, and it's like a completely different person. It's actually the same actress, but they changed everything about her. Yeah, she was still in the military. Yeah, she's still a widow. Yeah, all the things about her character are the same, but her look and her personality have completely changed, and I'm not sure I like it. So I always have a problem with that when people just change the continuity of things for the heck of it, probably because she wasn't very popular as she was originally. But I have trouble, disconnecting the 2 from each other. So for me, it's not working, but I'll see the show through to the end and then see what I'm going to do. Because I haven't decided what I'm going to watch next. It'll be a while. Because I'm still 6 or 7 episodes from the end of season 4, and then there's all of season 5 to watch. So we'll see. I've been watching less TV. Did you go back down there? My cat is sitting at my feet. Not the one you guys normally get to see. The other one that doesn't like people. She's been under my feet all day. It's weird. Of course, she also peed on a seat cushion earlier, so I'm not very happy with her, which is probably why she's sitting down there. So, yeah, you. So I didn't try any new recipes this week, so I have nothing to talk about there. Nor did I do a whole heck of a lot of reading this week outside of class. So I'm sure you don't want to know about the Microsoft PowerPoint 2016 textbook I'm currently reading. That's the class I'm taking right now. I'm doing an administrative assistant, office administration general diploma through the community college, and the class I'm on now is presentation software, so obviously we're using PowerPoint a lot, and it's the one Microsoft software outside of Access that I'm not fully familiar with. I do use it quite a bit, but so I'm anxious to see what I actually managed to learn from this class, because the last couple have been, let's just slog through it and get the credit. Other than that, the only thing I have to talk about is podcasts. So I have watched a few podcasts this week. The Knit Girls recently hit their 400 episode anniversary. I am absolutely floored. I mean, I knew they had been at it a lot longer than we had, but 400 episodes is really impressive. And lately it seems like they've been putting out like more than 1 episode a week. I watched their most recent one, which was called Bag of Holding. It's episode 403. Laura has this backpack that she drags around everywhere. It's got everything in it. I also have a bag of holding that it's a backpack. I carry it around everywhere. It's got all my stuff in it. And so I got a kick out of that. And yeah, my ex also calls it my infinite bag of holding, because I have absolutely everything in there, including dice. So that was a huge milestone for them to hit. I am like, wow, congratulations, guys. That's amazing. And if you have not checked out the Knit Girls, first of all, where have you been? And second of all, go watch them. They are really, really fantastic ladies. I've met them a few times now. Laura, I originally met at Stitches Midwest. And then we met Leslie at, pretty sure it was Rhinebeck. But, yeah, so we've met both of them a few times. I have met both of them a few times. And they're really, really sweet ladies. And I love hanging out with them. And I love spending time with them, watching them on their podcast. I also watched the Rosehaven Yarn podcast this week. That is another Leslie. And her husband, I'm saying that. I don't know if he's her husband. And Tim, I'm assuming he's her husband, but I don't know. Anyway. That's a silly assumption to make, but who knows. They have a new episode out this week, including Tim's review of the men's knitting retreat he recently went to. So that was a super fun episode. They are at Twist Fiber Festival this weekend. I'm super bummed I won't get to see them, because they just announced that they won't be going to Rhinebeck this year. So I'm a little bummed. I would have liked to stop by and say hi to them, but it just wasn't in the cards. I had to take my son to the dentist on Friday, emergency appointment, and Thursday. And there were some other unexpected expenses that cropped up, and my paycheck was a little bit smaller this week because they finally started taking out my pension contributions. So I have a little bit less money to play with than I had before. So I have to rejig my budget a little bit, but it'll work. I just couldn't go to Twist. Ironically, I'll have money tomorrow, but I don't have any today. So, plus, I didn't really have anybody to go with this year, so I was supposed to go with a friend of mine. She had to bail on that, and I was actually at that point looking for an excuse to bail out on it because I knew I wasn't going to have any money. And, you know, my mom had indicated a little bit of interest, and then she was like me, really tired after the barbecue yesterday, so I ended up going, okay, I don't want any new yarn to come into my house anyway. Why am I going? It's an hour-and-a-half drive, an hour-and-a-half back. That's like the entire amount of gas that I have left. Why am I going to spend all this money to go to this thing that I don't have any money to spend at? You know, because Twist is fun, but if you don't have any money and you're just wandering around, not so much fun. It's like going to a shopping mall with no money. It's, not for me. So anyway, I very much enjoyed watching Rosehaven Yarn. It had been a while since I'd caught up with them. I do really desperately want to go to Picton and visit the shop because Rosehaven Yarn is a shop in Picton, Ontario. I can't wait to go check it out. There was a lot of nifty dyeing done in this week's episode, and Tim is knitting some pretty interesting stuff. And Leslie had a couple of kits that they were going to be bringing to Twist. The F-bomb kit was hilarious. I love it. I gotta get one. But that's for future. I will try to. Sorry, I keep looking down because I actually typed my show notes this week, and rather than having them like here-ish where I normally have them, I have them sitting on my keyboard. So I keep looking down so I don't forget anything, because every week I forget something. So the last podcast that I checked out this week, that I have not already talked to you guys about, was called Selma's Knits. This is not Selma of Little Big Knits podcast. This is a French knitter. She lives in France. She does 2 episodes for each episode of her podcast, 2 uploads for each episode of her podcast, one in English, one in French. So I watch them in English just because it's easier. I have difficulty with the French accent, and their terminology is sometimes different from our Canadian French. So I watch it in English. She's a very nice lady. She is Selma's Knits on Ravelry, not Selma Knits like our Selma. Very, very close username. It can be very confusing. But she has a completely different logo, so I know when she pops up and when Selma pops up. So she, one of the reasons I like watching her podcast is because in Europe they have completely different yarns at their disposal. One of these days I'll learn to speak. I'm also uncaffeinated today, so take that with a grain of salt. So anyway, she knits with a bunch of different yarns that I'm not familiar with because they're not available here, or they're not easily available here. So it's a lot of fun to see what she's got at her disposal and what she's making. And I very much like her podcast. Just as a last brief note, Dunkelgrün also has a new episode out this week. Go check her out. This one is mostly about baby knits. I haven't watched it yet, but I saw the blurb on Instagram, and I'm looking forward to watching it after I'm done with this. So that's what I've been up to this week. Oh, I wanted to tell you about the class I took on Monday. So because I'm a nut bar, I signed up for a class. It's actually taught by my friend Giselle, who is Gingham Wisdom. GinghamWisdom.com is, I think she still has the website, but if not, look up Gingham Wisdom on Facebook and you'll find her. She offers workshops in the Ottawa area on a number of different topics. She does canning, she does, and now I've got a complete blank because I've been to several of her workshops. I actually arranged for a private workshop a few years ago for her to teach me to use my pressure canner because I was afraid of it. My mom bought me one of those big 21 quart pressure canners, and I had never used a pressure canner, and I was terrified of the damn thing. So I had Giselle, I brought it over, and Giselle taught me how to, we canned a batch of beans, I think. And so she taught me how to estimate like what had to go into the jars, because for pressure canning, if you're doing stews or soups or anything like that, it has to be half liquid. You can't put more than half the jar of solids. Fill the jar with more than halfway with solids. The rest has to be liquid. So she taught me how to use my pressure canner. She's done jam making workshops. She does all kinds of things. She's done sausage making. This particular workshop was how to make your own liquid laundry detergent. So that's what we did, and it's super cool. It's a 2-day process. The first day you make your concentrate, which overnight gels hard. Well, not hard, but it's like gummy bear jelly. And then you use that to then make your laundry liquid. So we made, I want to say 5 gallons of concentrate, about 20 liters. And then from that, that makes about 10 gallons or 40 liters of laundry liquid. And the cost outlay for this, I mean, you need a box of borax and a box of washing soda and another ingredient, well, another couple of ingredients. Box of borax is about $5-6. Box of washing soda is about $10-12, but you use a very small amount of each. The boxes could easily last you 5 years. So initial outlay, I think we calculated, was less than $2 for is it a gallon jug? I'm trying to think now. I have this big jug. It must be a gallon jug, because I used 4 cups of concentrate and no, hang on. I'm trying to math right now, and I really should have figured this out. But anyway, for the bottle of laundry liquid, it costs less than $2 to make it. Oh, for the big thing of concentrate, less than $2 to make it. So 40 liters of laundry liquid cost me about $2. Bonus. Now, a friend of mine online warned me. She says if it's this type of recipe, it will leave a little bit of residue in your washing machine. I was like, yep, the instructor covered that. She said once a month, just run a cup of vinegar through your wash and through your empty machine, and it'll get rid of that residue. So I'm not worried about it. So far, I haven't found that it leaves a residue on my clothes. They feel clean, and I would know if it left a residue because I'm a special snowflake and I react to everything. Yesterday, I fed my niece, the baby, not the 6-year-old. I fed my niece some puree that had mango in it. And I didn't, rather than go get a face cloth and wash her face, because my dad was holding her. There was a lot of people in the house who didn't want to drag the high chair out. So I fed her the puree, and rather than go and get a face cloth to wash her face, I just picked her up and took her with me. And she rubbed her face all over my neck. I had a rash all over both arms, all over my chest, all over my neck. My face was itchy. It was awful. So I have to remember not to feed the baby mango because, and it took me about half an hour to notice that I was getting itchy and like ivy. So that was super fun. So I really enjoyed this class. I'm not going to give out the recipe for the soap because Giselle teaches the class, and quite frankly, I'm not going to start sharing her recipes because then she'll never have anybody sign up for her workshops, and that would be rude. So I do have the recipe here. I will definitely make this stuff again when I run out in a year or two, because she not only gave me the big, I suspect it's a full gallon jug of laundry detergent, but she also gave me a 2-gallon bucket of the concentrate. So I will not run out of laundry detergent for a very, very long time. So I'm having a lot of fun with this, and it was a super cool workshop. I would absolutely recommend her to anybody in the area who wants to learn this sort of thing. If you're not in the area, there's probably an organization or a company or a person in your area who teaches classes like this too. All you gotta do is look around. So, and perhaps if you're having trouble finding somebody like that, I can try and use my Google Foo to help you. So if you're interested, give me a shout and I will try to help you find somebody. I will stop babbling now because, wow, I am talking about nothing. And the cats are being a little annoying right now. Hello, George. Oh, you can see my daughter's mess on the table back there, but there's George. Hi, George. Hi. So that's George. I would not have moved if I had known my daughter had left that much of a mess back there. I really should have looked around before I started recording. So that's about it, and I will say goodbye, and I hope you all have a great week and keep your sticks pointy. Bye.